Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our conjunction series of the week. And today we are going to be covering our conjunction of Mercury, Saturn, and Rahu, and what happens when these three planets are conjunct in your horoscope. And as always, if you do not know where this conjunction is placed, if you have this conjunction, all the other planetary placements, for that, check out my full astrological report here, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, and all my consultations at this link. So, Mercury, Rahu, and Saturn. What happens when this conjunction occurs? The first thing you want to know about in this conjunction is Mercury, the role of Mercury. See, Mercury, imagine Mercury as water. You have a normal glass, okay? You pour water there, the water's in there. Then you can take a glass which is made up of a donut, okay? It's made up of a donut. And on the top you can pour water. It's just like a little fancy, artistic, glass vase, all right? So you pour water there and the water goes into the circle, takes the shape of that. And this is the innate nature of Mercury. What Mercury is kind of like moon. You know how moon is receptive to other planets? So it requires the energy of the sun. It requires the light of the sun upon itself for it to illuminate. Mercury is a planet that likes to cheer for the planets that it sits with. And so what happens in astrology, it is said that depending upon the association of Mercury, Mercury is going to behave that way. Is it the association malefic or benefic? So you see where I'm going with this. Malefic, benefic, malefic, benefic. So whoever Mercury sits with, he's like, oh man, you're my buddy, man. You're my homie. Come on now. Let's do this together. Let's take over the world together. That's how Mercury is. So whether it's Rahu here, Jupiter here, Moon here, Saturn here, Mars here, Mercury is pretty much originally actually neutral to every planet. It's just curious, like, man, I want to know you. I want to know you, Rahu. Come on now, let's go to the bar. Let's get to know each other. And so now Mercury is sitting with two malefic planets. The malevolent energy, Rahu and Saturn. So it's going to behave. He's going to cheer for them. See, forget the behavior part. Mercury has its own behavior. What Mercury does, Mercury's going to start cheering. Start clapping hands. Yeah, let's go. Let's party together. So here, what becomes extremely crucial, and I probably hadn't, I would say the least amount of people come with this conjunction. I would say probably counting wise, 20 to 35. Okay. And one thing I noticed with whatever their life, whatever it happened, is that the sign that this was occurring in gave the greatest clue. Because remember, this is, and as you know, this is quite different from my other conjunction videos that I've done, because of the fact this conjunction can either, because remember, Mercury is what? Our ability to comprehend things, analyze things. It's our ability to discriminate things. It's our speech and communication. It's our sense of humor. Okay? So when Mercury is sitting with these planets, okay, you got to understand Mercury is going to be, in a way you can think, hemmed by two malefic planets, which in Vedic astrology is kind of known as Papkartra Yoga. So if let's say Mercury is in the middle of the degree, Rahu is in the very end of the degree, Saturn is at the very beginning, it's hemming Mercury. But doesn't matter whatever degrees they're at, Mercury is being influenced. And then Rahu is what? Illusion. Rahu is our desires, our most innate desire for the material world, our desire to be the best, our desire to be the king. Rahu always wants to be the king, kind of like Yodel the turtle. How do I know Yodel the turtle? Of course, because of my kids. Because my daughter, my youngest daughter, is in love with Cat in the Hat. And there's this turtle named Yodel the turtle. He's kind of like the Dr. Seuss made him kind of like the personality of Hitler, always wanting to conquer land, always wanted to conquer. That's his goal. And so that's the same with Rahu. Rahu wants to conquer things, and Rahu wants to sit on the throne. But Rahu is this smoke. It's an energy which disappears here, appears here, disappears there, appears here. So Rahu can also represent paranormal activity. Rahu can represent ghosts. Rahu can represent aliens, things that are really outside our realm to understand. Then Saturn is right here, right now. Let's work. Saturn is practical world. He's like, what ghost? You know, what aliens you're talking about? All I see is walls, and I see the work in front of me, and I see that my boss has demanded that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm a laborer. I'm a servant. I'm a worker. I know where I'm at. I cannot fly. I don't have superhuman powers like Superman. I'm just here to do what I'm supposed to do. That's it. So that's the energy of Saturn. Saturn wants to be systemizing things, structuring things, organizing things. And usually Rahu-Saturn conjunction works together very well. It is a conjunction of a person who can systemize things in electronics and softwares. Like you hire a software professional if you want to hire a software professional who can systemize all your database and all your archives, hire somebody with Rahu-Saturn conjunction. They'll be very good at it. But because Mercury is here, either this can produce a person who was absolutely rebellious as a kid, perhaps loved being with all the bullies of the school, could have been a bully themselves. This is a conjunction that can produce a extremely clever person who does not really care who they're hurting, who they're taking advantage of, but they just want to achieve their goals of being a king. And they're very systematic at it. They're very structured and disciplined towards how they're going to do it. These are the people who will speak very late in life. Like maybe they will start speaking at the age of 3.5, 4 even. And I actually have seen enough people with this conjunction who always spoke late. Because Mercury's speech. Saturn is delay. And Rahu is this air energy. So they will mumble a lot like, yeah. And you'll be like, come on, talk. They're trying to talk. But the thing is, this energy of Rahu and Saturn is crushing their ability to speech. But they are the most dynamic speakers once they grow old, especially after the age of 36. If these people get on the stage and speak, people listen. Their speech has this magnetism, this charisma, this forcefulness. And of course, this conjunction makes a brilliant hacker, software engineer, and accountant, somebody who's extremely good with mathematics. So you see how I went from one end to the other, contradicting my way to it, right? You're like, dude, you're talking about everything here. What's going on? Well, this is where you have to understand that the sign that Mercury is placed in is going to play a huge part. The nakshatra that Mercury is placed in and the other planets are placed is going to play a huge part. How close this conjunction is also is going to play a huge part to really seeing and understanding the level of this conjunction. Because either this person can become an extremely dangerous scam artist, somebody who can become a warlord, who have their way to manipulating their way into even becoming the president of a country, or they are the geniuses working in a laboratory, perhaps cracking the code of astrology and proving it as a science because they were locked in their basement for the last 5 years. And that's the two extreme you'll see. But also what I have seen, that people, and I don't want to use the word hallucinate. I want to use the word, these people are pretty much have the ability to connect to things that are real, but they're not of this realm. And maybe they will be able to see it, yet other people can't. So most people may think that they are crazy or they're schizophrenic. And that could be the case. But the more heavy Rahu is on Mercury with Saturn, you bet that this person has very, very strong energy, aura to link to the other side. Because remember, Rahu is the shadow of Saturn. Saturn is a significator of the 8th house, Karaka of the 8th house. 8th house represents occult, mysticism, sorcery, death, rebirth, paranormal activities, graveyards, everything that we fear, everything that we're kind of clueless about, everything that we desire to have. You know, kind of like a horror movie. You hate being scared by horror movies, but man, you love it when you are in the theater and that movie starts. Yet you know at the same time you're going to go home and you're not going to sleep. You're going to be paranoid for weeks on end. And this is why this conjunction has to be treated with the most sensitivity. And especially when I did my conjunction of Moon, Rahu, Saturn conjunction, it was pretty much similar to this, but this one becomes a bit more important because Moon is a very important planet, right? It's the mind. It's our happiness. It's our ability to feel happy. But here, imagine Moon on steroids, which is Mercury, that has not the ability to just think and understand, but also the capacity and ability to calculate, to scheme, to maneuver, to diagnose, to invent. So it becomes extremely powerful, man. One thing you'll definitely notice with this conjunction, if one of these planets are in Sastabisha Nakshatra, you most definitely have great love for aerospace, pilot, astronauts, and being an astronomer. But Mercury, as you know, it's going to behave with the planets that it sits with. So usually, naturally, this person will be always wanting to break the rules to achieve their ability to understand things and their ability to get things through their communication. You see what I'm saying? Like, even the most nicest person, the nicest guru, the nicest professor naturally will get what they want by manipulating their way. And it's not their fault, and you can't blame them. It's just this Mercury is what's, it's just doing its job. That's all it is. It's just a mechanism that was put on Earth, which is whatever your name is, your address is, your social security is. You are here to do a certain or play a certain part. But this is a very sensitive conjunction because you have to really, before you blame someone, before you accuse someone, like, yeah, you're a very manipulative person, make sure you check which house this conjunction is in, which sign it's in, where the dispositor of the sign is placed, where the dispositor of the nakshatra lord is placed. And this is the biggest clue I'm giving you. And once you see it, you can be able to see how this person is, who this person is. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of Mercury, Rahu, and Saturn conjunction. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your conjunctions are, what your planetary placements are, all my books, reports, consultations, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.